Hello. Hi. Welcome. The session will start in about 3 minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that the live was going to be working, so I just came on a little bit early. If you would like for now to just make yourself comfortable, we are going to start the session soon, but just to let you know, we're going to make another break in the series of the chakras. And today we're going to actually do a session on releasing pressure. I will explain everything in a moment when I'll be sure that everybody's joined. But for now, you can just make yourself comfortable. It's very hot here in the UK. I don't know where you are right now, but make sure you have some water to drink throughout the session as well. We will start in 2 minutes. Just make yourself comfortable and know that at any time in the session, you can move and shift your body. So it doesn't have to be that you stay stuck to that position all the time of the session. So, but for now, just make sure you make yourself comfortable and already you can start to let go of the thoughts in your mind, knowing that you're preparing yourself to do this meditation session. As you may notice, I do have cats in the house, so sometimes you will hear noise or see a tail or an ear passing by the screen. Okay, so welcome to session. I think I made a mistake in the title. I think this is session 17, not 16, but I'll edit that later. I hope this will not bring any confusion for anyone. Okay, so today we are going to do a session on, sorry, let me just remove this, on releasing pressure. A friend of mine last week said this magic word and it just clicked in my head. I know that we're always trying to work on stress, trying to relieve stress. Relief is a common word that we use in health and well-being. But actually, if you can imagine we are like a pressure cooker and the pressure builds inside. So sometimes we need to flick that little flap at the top to release the pressure. That's what we're going to be working on today. We are going to flip the flap up and release some pressure, basically. Because if you look at now our situation, especially 2020, if you hear that word, 2020, or those words rather, it already immediately might bring to you a sense of unease or discomfort because of all the things that have happened this year, all these challenges that we've had that we normally would not have in our life of every day already. So just these words can create so much of a sense of pressure inside. So I'm asking you to think about the stress that we experience and the experiences of life that bring stress, and to try and see how that can translate into you as pressure, how that can feel in your system as pressure. Because for this session, we are going to gear every activity to relieving the pressure. So we're going to do some thinking through and some activities as well. And these activities you can do at any time also, when you are at home, if you are at work, if you're even driving, especially with the breath. Breath is like the most magical way of releasing pressure. So, but I'll talk you through everything anyway as we go along. And in the meantime, let me just remind you that this is a session for your happiness and for your well-being. So at any time, you need to make sure that you feel comfortable, fully comfortable fully relaxed as much as possible. And if you feel anything, any discomfort, any unease, then you can actually sit the activity out that is making you feel uncomfortable. You can decide if you want to either rest and just listen to the activity in the background. If that is too much, then you can even just step away from your listening device for a while until we change the activity. Or you can also decide at any time to go back to the first activity that we are going to do, which is the activity, the breathing exercise, which is one of the foundation exercises of meditation. So, this said, we are now going to be moving on to our introduction. And so that means, as bearing in mind that this session is infused with Reiki healing, please, if you would like to think of an intent for your healing today, we're going to spend a few minutes to begin with to focus on that. And also a gratitude. I invite you to think of something that you're grateful for that happened in the last week. Something that made you feel good, something that made you feel smile, some kindness that was given to you. It's more about what is brought to you and to your life rather than what you give out. Because I know there's a lot of people who find so much gratification in giving to others. But here, the important part of this exercise is for you to receive, for you to be given, and for you to allow for that to happen and for you to enjoy it. This is all, the gratitude exercise is all a practice for all these things. So, we're going to take now a couple of minutes. And so, to begin with, if you would like to take a deep breath and then closing your eyes, and then just for a couple of minutes, thinking of a gratitude, something you are grateful for, and also, if you would like, an intent for your healing. It can be in any aspect of your life. It can be about your body health. It can be about your mind health. It can be for your spiritual development. It can also be for activities, projects, jobs, or relationships in your life. It's about bringing positivity to all these things and healing the negative energy, healing the negativity from these things. Okay, so just a couple of minutes to think about these things now. Okay, and now when you are ready, we are going to move on directly into our breathing exercise. So you can keep your eyes shut. You can readjust your position if it doesn't feel right to you. And now I am going to invite you to switch off every thought in your mind. Little by little, as much as you can. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. But letting go little by little of every thought that is not needed by you right now. You can just stop thinking of them. You can release them. You can imagine that your thoughts are like balloons and they're floating away from you up into the air. Or that you're flicking a switch and switching them off. Any kind of way that feels comfortable to you, you can go ahead and reduce all the thoughts in your mind until there is one main one, that is your breath. For the next few minutes, the only important thought in your mind should be your breath. Your whole mind should be taken by your breath, as if you were looking at your breath through a microscope, and all you could see was your breath. Or there will always be thoughts coming in your way, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. But when that happens, when you notice, just bring your mind gently back to your breath. There is no way to fail at this exercise. Anything is everything. Every second you spend focusing on your breath, you are doing yourself amazing good. Already your whole system is relaxing. Slowly by slowly. As your mind thinking is getting a lot simpler, thinking on the one thing that is your breath. No need to change it in any way. Just noticing it, observing it. Using your inner sense to feel what it feels like when the air gets into your lungs and your whole body expands to make room for it. And then when the air leaves your whole system and your body retracts to exhale it. You can notice all the sensations that the air brings to your body. When it passes through your nostrils, for example, can you feel it there? Can you notice the air passing through your nose? Any sensation there? Or through your mouth if you cannot breathe through your nose right now? Can you feel the air passing at the back of your throat and into your windpipes? If you don't, that's okay. It is just about noticing what's happening. Can you notice the air reaching your lungs and your lungs expanding and your rib cage shifting? And relaxing deeper and deeper now. Your whole body releasing tension. Your mind becoming lighter and clearer. You are feeling more and more relaxed. And now we are going to add one more part to the exercise. We are going to use our breath to relieve pressure. This is something you can do at any time, anywhere. And you can do it however feels right to you, but I will give you a word of advice. Basically, the idea is that on an inhale, you breathe in as normal. On an exhale, you breathe out as normal too, but you are becoming aware that as you are breathing out, you are letting go of pressure. I asked you to take a moment and to think about how tension and stress and thoughts can become pressure in the body and in the mind, how it can feel like pressure to you. And this is important here, is to connect with that sensation of pressure so that every time you exhale, you are removing some of that pressure. Some people may see it as a sensation, and then they can imagine that the sensation is leaving them on an exhale with the air. Some people might see it as a color that leaves their body on an exhale with the air. Some other people might just think and know that when they are exhaling, they are relieving pressure, and that's enough for many people. It is completely up to you how you see it and how you do it. But from this moment on and for the next few minutes, I am inviting you, if you would like, you don't have to do it. On every inhale, you inhale air as normal. And on every exhale, you exhale pressure. So from now on, and for the next few minutes, you can inhale, breathe in the fresh air, open your chest as the air goes in, and then exhale the pressure from the stress, the tension, the pain. Thinking of that pressure cooker, the flap lifting up and the pressure going, releasing and relieving your whole system, body, mind, and spirit. Every time you breathe in, and then you breathe out and you relieve the pressure. Breathing in and breathing out the pressure. Relieving yourself from the weight of all these burdens and pains and stress. The body tension on the muscles is another word for pressure. Your muscles are pressurized, or pressurizing themselves, maybe even. And so on an exhale, you are also relieving that pressure, releasing the tension by relieving the pressure. All that steam that built inside, that built up inside from all the stress can relieve now. Leave your whole system to never come back. Breathing in and breathing out the pressure. Pressure from your mind, pressure from headaches. Pressure stored as tension in the neck and shoulder area. You can let go of all that pressure. Your body, mind, and spirit are relaxing more and more now. As every time you breathe out, you're letting go of even more pressure. Enough of this tension. Enough of the stress. Just stay in this moment where you are nowhere, in no time. Time doesn't exist. Geography doesn't exist. It's just you. You and your breath. And every time you breathe out pressure, the next time you breathe in, you have even more space for air because there's less pressure inside. Breathing in and breathing out pressure. Relieving, emptying the tension, releasing anything that adds more pressure to you. You can release it all now. You can let go of it now. Now, to finish this session, this is where my word of advice comes in. We're going to breathe out in sharp breath to release the last bits of pressure. This is something you can do anytime, but you have to be careful not to do it too much. And so this means I wouldn't even recommend to do it for more than a minute because you could become very, very lightheaded if you did. We're just going to do it 3 times. I'm going to invite you now, not yet, but in a minute, to take a very deep breath in so that your lungs are completely filled with air. And then to blow it out through the mouth, strong and sharp, as if you're pushing everything out with all your strength. You have to be careful, though, first of all, to not go too strongly and then hurt yourself. Because to do this, you need your muscles. If your muscles are not ready, you might hurt yourself. So do it only as hard and as strong as you can handle. Okay? And we're going to do it only 3 times. And that is enough already to relieve a huge amount of pressure. So now I'm going to invite you now to take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth really strongly. And again, deep breath in, strongly back out. And the last one, deep breath in, pushing it all out with all your strength. When you are ready, you can take a deep breath to finish. Bring your mind back to your space And open your eyes again. Take a moment now just to see how you are feeling after this exercise, and then also the difference between before the last three breaths, and after the last three breaths. Is there a difference? On my end, I had to make sure I would breathe out too hard, otherwise the computer would have fallen, and also the cat got scared. So I had to be careful not to do it too strong, but you can really go for it and really push it out as hard as you can. And you can use that anytime, especially when you're driving or if you've had a problem at work and you can just go to the bathroom and you can just do this. Even at your desk or wherever it is that you work. If you've had an argument, you can do that, preferably not in front of the person you're fighting with, because it could appear quite intimidating, but otherwise it's really good also to relieve that kind of tension and pressure. Okay, so for the next activity, we're going to actually just do some thinking now. And because it's a specific thinking with a particular goal, it can actually also be considered as meditation, because you are bringing your focus onto one thing and you're switching off every other thoughts again. But I'm going to invite you to think in a moment, not just yet, but in a moment, about what it is that in your life you can remove to reduce your pressure. So, for example, I'm just going to give you an example. Making these videos, the pressure that I can put onto myself. The first one is worrying whether the streaming is going to work or not, and knowing that it has crashed a few times, so it's likely that it's going to happen again. The pressure, also knowing how many people are watching, and am I actually making these videos useful for people due to the number of people who are watching at the time. Pressure. Okay, for meditation, one pressure is to not trip over my words. Another pressure is, again, I think I've just mentioned this, but is this actually helpful for people? So all of these are little bits of pressure I can put onto myself just to make this video. And so another pressure can also be, is this actually useful in this format for people? Is it easy to access for people? All these things are little pressures I can put on myself. And in the end, all these things I have no control over. And it doesn't matter. For example, I can put myself pressure because my video at the time when it's streaming, there's only one person watching. But the amazing benefits that one person can get is amazing enough in itself to make it worth me doing this video. So there's no real pressure there. So you see all these pressures that we put on ourselves, like time-wise, the schedules that we give ourselves in our lives. Why are we doing that? Is it worth doing? When did we put these systems into place? Are they still relevant now? So I was taking a friend to work at 11 at night. It was about 40 minutes away from my house. And I'd come back home at midnight. Then I'd have to relax a little bit before I go to bed. I wouldn't go to bed until 1:30. So after a while, I got so tired. I actually had a bout of exhaustion about 2 weeks ago, which is why I took a break last week. And that was a lot of pressure on me. And the work there was not worth it for him to go to anyway. So I stopped taking him and he stopped going, and then he found another job. Pressure. There was an element there that was giving me a lot of pressure. And so that then was removed. I removed it. I said to him I couldn't take him anymore. And now there's less pressure. And we put ourselves a lot of pressure like this for others, for duties, for rules of life that we created at some point in our mind, either because that's what everybody does, or because that's what you know you're supposed to be doing. But these rules, you can make them, and you can also release them. You can design your own rules for your own life. Whatever it is that other people do doesn't matter. What matters is how much pressure are you giving yourself to do all these things. All these things that may not be relevant to you, or may not be relevant to you anymore, or may not fit with who you truly are. I put myself a lot of pressure as a self-employed person to try and work according to a schedule every day from this hour to that hour and doing these repetitive things. But that doesn't work for me because I'm someone who flows, and I really struggle with hours. And so when I'm doing my own work at home, if I don't have any timekeeping obligations, like a client session, for example, then it puts me under a lot of pressure to try and keep up with the times that I would be putting up for myself. And that is a pressure I don't need. I need to get to my goal, and which is to be working a certain amount of hours per week, but I can shift through and organize myself in a way that fits me better, and that gives me less pressure. So, how can you give yourself less pressure? Now, we're going to spend 5 minutes to think about this. So, if you would like to take a deep breath to begin, making yourself comfortable and closing your eyes. And I'm going to ask you to scan through your life of today, like your day, for example, from morning till night. What do you do in your day? How do you behave? What do you give out? What do you receive? And think about the pressure you give yourself. I am not going to say the pressure that others give you, because what others give you is what you let them give you in terms of pressure. So even that you can change. For example, if you have a child and that child wants toys all the time, and you don't have money to buy toys all the time, that is pressure that your child, it may feel, is giving you, but actually it is you who's letting him or her give you that pressure. You understand the dynamic of this? So pressures like that in your life of every day, how can you reduce? Which are the things in your life right now that you can stop doing because they give you pressure and they are not needed, not really needed? Or that you can organize yourself better so that you can remove that pressure. Or that you can deal better with others and respect yourself better so that others don't give you so much pressure. What are the things today that you can decide to stop or to remove from your life so that you no longer have so much pressure in your system? What is it that you can think of in your life that you can let go of or stop doing to give yourself less pressure in life? Think about the worrying as well. We worry all the time for things that never happen. Is there any worrying you can let go of? We're going to stop this activity now, but this is something you can keep thinking about. You could even write about it if you would like, because it could potentially give you opportunity to a big change in your life, a turning point where you can decide to start looking after yourself. Another part of this would be to start sending yourself love more, and we might actually do that at the end of this session, where you give yourself so much love that you actually know you deserve to give yourself less pressure. It kind of works together. But in the meantime, if you would like to take a deep breath to finish, and then opening your eyes. Thank you, Anna, for your message saying the precautions not on do not deep exhale or release the pressure on the face of your boss or nearby the cat are brilliant. Thank you, Guru. I'm glad you like that. Thanks. And actually, I'm going to move on now to a disclaimer. In this last activity, if you have decided to let go of a relationship, it's not my fault. Okay. Right. So now we're going to do a visualization activity. And for this type of activity, remember, if you cannot see what I describe, because some people are visual, others are not. So if you cannot see what I'm describing, it doesn't matter, because as you are hearing it, your mind is absorbing the concepts and it's making it real for you anyway. Okay? So again, there's no way to fail with this, and there's no way to do this wrong. So if you would like now to take a deep breath to begin, and then closing your eyes. With the crisis we have experienced so far this year, a lot of people were describing us being in isolation as being in a cocoon and being ready to prepare for what's next and to rest and to energize and whatever else that can come with the concept. And I said to people, actually, no, we're not in a cocoon, because our life is continuing. It's changed. It has completely changed. And we're in a different environment. We have different rules for everyday life. But actually, it's not really a cocoon. But because we had to change so much, and a lot of us had to actually stay inside a lot, our environment got so much more restricted. And as we are talking about pressure, imagine what it is like. When you are in one small environment all the time, it can feel very oppressive, as if the walls are actually wrapping around you. And so we're going to start here. But we're not going to start in a house, and instead we're going to start in a tunnel under the earth. In the earth, rather. So I would like you to imagine yourself like in a rabbit hole. And there will be some tunnel moving out slowly by slowly, where we will see more and more light, and the tunnel will get bigger, and we will come out eventually. So do not be afraid. I am with you, and I'm accompanying you. But we are starting in that rabbit hole. And I would like you to imagine that the things around you, the walls, the earth, the sides of the tunnel around you, that is quite tight around you. There may be 10 centimeters around your whole body, the equivalent to 3 inches, I think, around your body. So it's enough to crawl out slowly, but it is quite tight and quite warm in that space for now. And that is the pressure that we feel inside from all the stress and all the tension. So the pressure from this year, the pressure from all what we've experienced so far in life, the pressure from our environment, the pressure from the people around us, the pressure from work. And now you can start crawling out of that rabbit hole. Now you can start moving because you know you are strong and you know you don't want that pressure. And so little by little now, you can start crawling out of the rabbit hole. We're going to crawl for a little while. And because we can make this visualization anything we want, it's comfortable and it feels safe. And it feels good to be crawling in that rabbit hole, in that tunnel. As you are little by little progressing forward, your whole body in motion, your mind fixed on that point out there that you know you're going to come out of that tunnel from. And as you are keeping on crawling little by little, the walls of the tunnel are expanding around you because the hole is getting wider, wider and wider. As you're slowly progressing. And where it feels quite hot right now there, little by little, you're starting to get a sense of fresh air coming. As you are there, you are going to be out soon, out of that hole. And you can get a sense already of the freshness of the air, of the freedom waiting for you outside of that tunnel. Little by little, that's it. Keep going, slowly by slowly, crawling out of that tunnel. And you know when you come out, you will be so much more comfortable and so much safer. Because you will be free, you will be light. You will feel energized by the air hitting on your face as soon as you get out of that tunnel. And already your nose is filling with much more fresh air. Because as you're keeping on progressing in that tunnel now, and it's getting wider and wider, more fresh air is coming to your face already. And it's becoming brighter and brighter. The light in this tunnel is getting brighter and brighter because you're getting closer and closer to the entrance of the tunnel, to the hole you're going to come out through. All this pressure from life is releasing little by little as you are shifting through that tunnel. You are leaving it all behind. You are unburdening yourself from everything that is weighing you down and that is oppressing you. And as you're as you are crawling through that tunnel, now it's getting so big and you can see the exit of it. It's right there. A few more moments and you're going to be out of that hole. That's it. Keep going. You can start moving your body around as well. You have more space to move. And now you can start to see the sky through that hole. Small, fluffy white clouds, but a big, blue, bright sky is waiting for you. And you can now step out of that hole when you are ready and feel the fresh air hitting your face. A small, gentle breeze cleansing you from all that is remaining on you that you may feel is oppressing you still. As you come out of that hole into a beautiful field, a beautiful meadow, with a big bright sun hitting on you as well, in the most gentle and powerful way still. And now that you are out, you know you are free. You are free, you are light, you can breathe. You can brush your clothes off, brush yourself off. Open your arms up to the air. Look up, smile at the sun. Take a large deep breath in to absorb this fresh air, to cleanse yourself thoroughly. And now you can do what you want. You can dance, you can run, you can walk. You can go into the grass, roll over. You can sit down and relax. Feel the sun rays on your face and the fresh breeze. You can go for a walk through the meadow. You are free. All the past from 1 minute ago till now, or rather 1 minute ago and beyond, is all gone. It's finished. It no longer exists. The future can be anything you want it to be. The future is you free. The future is this bright sun, this cleansing breeze. The future is your happiness. Now I'm just going to invite you for a minute to open your eyes again after taking a deep breath to finish. Just to transition more easily into the next activity. I've got a message from Magali that is loosely translated as, it's fantastic to decide to be more relaxed and to carry less burden. Again, loosely translated. And yes, it definitely feels really wonderful. Thank you. Now, the next activity is another one that is very popular in meditation. And what we're going to do is that we are actually going to focus our mind on the space between thoughts. Now, what is that like? Well, it can be whatever it is that is meaningful to you. So, for example, for me, I'm someone very visual. So I would shut my eyes and I would think of my thoughts as trains with carriages. And then in between the carriages, there's nothing, emptiness. And so I would see that emptiness as like the cosmos, like dark dark blue matter with little dots of light that would be the stars. And I would see that in the space between the carriages, which are my thoughts. And I would just focus on that space there, the cosmos, space between the carriages. Now, you're going to tell me, but hang on a minute, these are actually thoughts you're formulating when you're describing all this. And it's true. It cannot happen for us to not have any thought at all. But we can reduce the concept of this, the idea of this is to reduce as much as possible. So you can see it as plain white light, for example. Just in your mind focusing on plain white light and no thoughts. Or you can see it as air, or however it is, or thinking of air, because that would be the emptiness. So it's completely up to you, whatever it is that makes sense to you with this. And knowing that thinking of a space between thoughts is actually one thought already in its own right. So there is no way that you can do this without thinking of any thought at all. But the idea is to reduce little by little, as much as possible, the thinking in our minds again. Okay? So I'm going to invite you to do this and to remind you over and over again for the next 5 minutes to think of the space between thoughts. If you would like to take a deep breath to begin, and then closing your eyes, letting my words sink in for a moment. And now letting go of every thought, focusing on the space between the thoughts. Imagining if your mind had boxes for every thought. It's true, it's about looking at the space between the boxes. It has to do with understanding that thoughts are limited in space so that you can actually see before it or after it, above, above it or under it, and there's nothing there. No thought. Focusing on the stillness of the space between your thoughts. And if at any time you get carried away with thoughts, gently, ever so gently, like a feather floating in the air, just bring your mind back to the space between your thoughts. Again, this is a place where there is no time, there's no geography, there's no life, there's nothing. Just pure peace. There's no judgment, there's no pressure, there's nothing. Just calm, no foot. The space between your foot. And now bringing our mind back to foot. We're going to move on to our last meditation, which is the love meditation. And I'm going to invite you now to gently rub your hands together to begin with, and then faster and faster and harder to generate heat and friction. Also a little bit of a surprise for the cats. And then putting your hands on your chest, where your heart resides, and especially where your heart chakra resides. And today, we are only going to send this energy to ourselves. Today, we are going to think of us. You are going to think of you. To know that you deserve, you have the right to live a life without pressure. You can find balance between you and others, between your needs and other people's needs, between your work and your personal life. Little by little, you can make changes that are suited for you. You need to come first in your life so that then you are stronger and happier and well enough to look after others and to care for others and to love others. So today, enjoy and embrace this energy that is coming to you and that is nourishing you. Today, let love come to you. Keep your hands there as long as it's comfortable to do so. If it becomes too much painful or too hard, you can always bring your hands back down to your lap afterwards. You can also, at any time, start rubbing your hands again together and then applying your hands again on your chest to feel the energy flowing again. We have done a lot of focusing today, so you can completely relax and allow your mind to go where it wants to go. And just knowing you're energizing your heart chakra right now. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands back down. Take a deep breath to finish. Start wiggling your toes in your hands, your arms, your legs, stretching your whole body. Bringing your mind back to the space where you are. And opening your eyes again. Thanks for watching this video today. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, if you've experienced certain things you would like to talk to me about, please don't hesitate to email me or to message me. And I'll get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, I'm hoping to continue the chakra series next week. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. the sessions are happening, 2 p.m. London time. And I hope you have an amazing week until then.